Good evening and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the SRA Grid Report. I'm your host, and with me, as always, the ever so gracious Mr. Bailey Kish. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great. You already know the routine, baby. We're getting primed up
Getting
for
primed.
another episode.
Attaboy, I like the consistency, and I see you're repping your Formula One team of choice as we head
Let's go,
into
baby.
the ever so exciting Monaco
Yes.
Grand Prix weekend.
Yes. I also got on my Red Bull racing jersey
Oh,
as well.
jeez. What are you,
You
like,
know, we're
sponsored
packing
or something?
packing the heat. I'm also wearing my Red Bull underwear.
Oh, we don't need to see those. Save that for
Just
the
kidding.
after hours pod.
I'm not wearing. But I am showing some Ferrari support for Charles Leclerc today. I got my Charles Leclerc flag up behind my monitors, so got to rep the homeboy this week.
There you go. I'll be uh I'll be wearing my Aston Martin polo out on the golf course tomorrow, so be repping the team when I can. Don't
I got you.
attaboy.
I
Unfor-
got you.
Unfortunately, I don't have any Fernando merch yet, but that'll be
Yeah.
coming soon as my camera just flickers through the rainbow apparently.
You know,
Still
if you
haven't
don't say
figured that out.
anything, if you don't say anything, they would have never noticed.
Hey man, that was pretty noticeable considering I'm looking at your square and I can see it in the corner of my eye, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, pretty eventful week with Watkins Glen, or Wetkins Glen, as you can see behind us here. Division 1 gave us a beautiful backdrop for this week's podcast. Uh, but yeah, as we got through this week, it was another, alright, we're finally through it, and let's move on to the next one. And nighttime Imola coming up next doesn't seem like it's going to be too much easier on the drivers.
No,
No.
it's gonna be another tough task for this week. I mean, the braking markers are so far off the track for a lot of these corners that it's gonna be very difficult to depict where you're supposed to brake.
Agreed. And the one thing I'm noticing already, as the limited practice I've done has been in the qualifying condition server, is
Hmm.
it's at sunset, and a lot of those corners, the sun's just coming straight in your eyes. Like the
Yes.
last two corners, man, it's so hard to pick that inner apex,
Yeah.
so you just can't see it.
Hmm. And then you got the shadows for the first sector, and yeah.
Yeah. So it's a whole bunch of fun, but the nighttime is a whole different beast compared to the wet.
Hmm.
So let's run through how everybody finished out this week in all of our divisions. Starting with Division 8, we're gonna go back to telling you guys about the top three in qualifying, just to show a little bit of the spacing. Because as people are starting to get comfortable with this update, it's it's starting to see that the top two, top three actually have some gaps in qualifying, even though the fields are pretty tight together. But Division 8, Kyle Cumber takes pole position with his 296 with a 55.875. Mark DC comes in second place with a 56.470, exactly what I mean by these gaps. And Simon Barnes in third with a 57.042. So quite the variance there in their qualifying times. No idea what their actual session was like, but Simon Barnes did actually come home to take the win with his M4. Kyle Cumber fell to second place with his 296. Roger Dismukas came home in third with his Porsche 992. Rob Warren found himself in fourth place with his 992, and Rookie F came home in fifth. So, unfortunately, it looks like Mark either had an incident during the race or didn't make the best of his pit strategy and
Yeah.
couldn't stick to the top five.
Mark actually had Mark is a good friend of mine. Actually said that he got a penalty for speeding. Was in first when he pit.
Oh no.
And got the penalty for speeding. So
Oh,
unfortunate, but he's still sitting, I believe, top of D8 at the moment, if not P2. So yeah, unfortunate event for Mark. He's been putting in a lot of practice, a lot of hard work. He's struggled with the 1.9 update, but we've been getting him up to speed. So
do we know where he actually finished out?
I don't at the moment, but Mark still is atop of the D8 um, standings. So
Well, there you go. Just about a third of the way into this championship, I guess you could say, or over a third of the way in,
hmm.
and up at the top. It's a great place to be right now, and
Yep.
it's always easier to stay within the mix that you're at than it is to make a big jump in the middle of the season.
Yeah. So, um, Calcumber is currently P2 by 3 points, so it's still a close battle. Jason Yarn's 9 points behind him, so it's still it's going to be division wide. It's still a lot to play for. So just because you miss a week or have a bad race, it's not over.
That's right. It is never over until, well, until the checkered flag drops,
Hmm.
or until the drunk Doug sings.
Which is happens a lot more often than not.
Yeah, a lot more often than you'd think.
Yes.
But as you bring up that pit board, let's take a look at the Watkins map here, and we can kind of see. It is a little bit hard to see, but right after turn 11 there, you can see the pit entry line, and just about as that line straightens out is where the board is. It's very deceiving, and it's extremely easy to miss it. We had countless speeding in the pit lane penalties during the practice races, and it was kind of a little bit of a how many are we going to see during the race, but it's unfortunate that it happened to one of the leaders.
Yeah, I'm just counting up how many pit penalties we had this week because it was heavily enforced. So if you give me a second.
That's right. The pit entry was heavily enforced this week. We asked that all drivers keep all four tires inside or to the right hand side of the pit entry line, which started just before turn 11, just to give like a fully commit to the pits, no diving in at the last second or making the decision in the middle of a corner, because that's where spins and crashes happen. So yeah, unfortunately, those who weren't able to drive within the lines, something we do every day on the road, got a little bit of a penalty.
36 pit lane penalties this week.
Wow. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, did you forget how to count past 10 or something? Or
No,
no,
no, 36.
36. Wow.
36 penalties.
That
Um,
that's
either for entry or for crossing over on the exit as well.
and that's interesting because they said in the driver's briefing that they weren't going to enforce the exit. They were going to. We think that you guys are smart enough with pit exits that we don't need to tell you about it, but the pit entry is more important here tonight. So I
Yeah,
guess I guess some people just took that as let's do whatever we want with the pit exit.
I guess so. I only say that because I thought I had a good entry. I thought I had a pretty safe entry because I went in behind five other people maybe. So like I couldn't really go too fast where I'd overshoot it. But I just assumed it was on the exit because I got the no track limit warning. So
Gotcha.
that's why I assume it was on the exit as well.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, we actually had a just kind of looking through these penalties. We're gonna have a lot of quali bans and uh, for this week at Imola. One, two, three, four, five, six quali bans.
Any of those in Division 8?
Division 8, Division 8, Division 8. No, nothing in Division 8.
Well, good job to you guys, Division 8. You're not there
Nothing,
yet.
nothing until Division 5.
Alrighty. Well, we can go over those when we get there. But let's head on to Division 7 and why don't we leave the track map up here for a little bit. Caden McCoy takes pole position with a 53.795. The Lastris, which is an awesome name, takes second place with a 54.585. And Richard Schultz takes third with a 54.655. So everybody enjoying their five. They all also did 5 laps each in qualifying. But Tony Swan from not the top three manages to come home and take the win. Richard Schultz in second place. Stephanie Fisher in third with the Lamborghini. Dan Meyer in fourth as well with the Lamborghini. And Jack Patch in fifth with the 296. So it looks like the Lestreese and Caden McCoy both fell out of the top five.
Yeah, I wonder if they kind of came together at some point or just self-inflicted wounds, maybe.
Quite possibly. I think I'm going to make a trip to the Division 7 chat later tonight and see just what happened from those guys. But
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, a little bit of a closer split in the qualifying, but still quite a
Hmm.
gap from pole position. I can't do the math right now.
You got this.
8 tenths?
There you go.
Hey,
I'm
look at
so
that.
proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud of you.
Never heard that
Yeah.
before.
The tough thing about looking at times this week, race times and quality times, is just due to the fact that everybody probably had a different track condition, either more wet, less wet, no wet. But I don't think we had any not no wet races this week. At
Yeah,
least I didn't hear any.
yeah, and that would have been top news here at SRA. But I
Yeah,
mean, you'd think it'd also be top news that none of them went dry.
yeah.
So
Surprisingly, I feel like we always have a dry race that's supposed to be wet.
at least one. When it was Silverstone in Division Two, got it.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, it's like you said. There's that bit of time progression or weather progression that you can get in the qualifying session. So even just golds to silvers, never mind from division to division, could be wildly different in qualifying conditions. And Division
yeah.
2 saw, I think, the worst case of that we've ever
Oh,
seen.
it was a nightmare.
I believe if I remember off the top of my head, the highest gold division and gold qualifier at the end was 12th place.
Yep. And Daniels.
Yeah, and then like 15th or something like that. So
Yep.
there was just a significant track advantage as it went
Yeah.
from light to medium. But, c'est la vie, that's racing.
It's not fun racing, but it's okay. It actually made for like an intense battle in the back for the gold drivers because we all knew like we shouldn't be here and that we had a lot of pace. So that's why I don't know if you watched back the replay at all, the VOD.
I have not
There
yet.
was about 10 people that pit at the first second lap there. Just all gold drivers like there's no point in battling. Let's get out of this and hope to undercut everybody. So
Yeah,
but little did we know that it would lead to us battling and it would really kill us. So
just another one of
yeah.
those moments. You think you've
Yep,
got the strategy call. And I mean, that was kind of common. The undercut was very, very much a liked strategy this weekend. And justifiably, it was very hard to follow in the spray at Watkins.
for sure. And do you get what races kind of also change the confidence level of people as well? So if you get a situation like D2 had where you get those silver drivers who are quick but like not confident, um, over 60 minutes, their lap times aren't going to be as quick as those who are more confident, quicker in the race or in the rain. So that undercut definitely would have worked if there wasn't such intense battling going on for position. And there was I can't remember who it was, but it's me, John Crown, Mert Michi, um, and Michael Louis as well. I think we battled for about 5 laps, which really killed us. So yeah, this week was definitely Watkins. I feel like it wasn't super tough in the wet. I think it was just a confidence race.
I kind of agree there. When we first started learning the track in the wet, it was kind of terrifying.
Hmm.
And I think that's just what it was. You really needed to have a lot of confidence in the fact that the tires were going to grip up, your car could handle it, you can brake that point, you can turn in the way that people are telling you to turn in. And yeah, that plus, just being able to pick braking points when being behind another car.
Yeah, and we had talked about it. Well, I forgot when we talked about it. It was earlier in the week last week, I think it was, of just how some of the breaking points were the same as they are on the dry.
Mhm.
So I mean, it didn't affect a whole lot besides your amount of throttle input and your speed over the curbs and your exit curbs as well. Was about the only difference, but yeah, I mean, still made for some great racing.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Division number 6. John Santoro takes pole position with a 52.370. Durban Legacy, a returning face, takes second place with a minute 52.632, and Curtis Lee takes third with a 53.037. In the race, that qualifying flipped upside down. Curtis Lee took the win in the Porsche. Durban Legacy came home in second. John Santoro in third. R. Hacksaw, I do not have a first name, came home in fourth place, and Marty Spacebaker came home in fifth place.
What a top five! We got a lot of popular names there.
We do, and names that if this was, I don't know, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, Seeing Curtis Lee in Division 6 makes me scratch my head.
Yeah.
You,
Uh, Curtis Lee, I mean, to be fair, I feel like has had a lot of unfortunate races in the SRA what should I say album of say endurance races, multi-class races, and um, team series. He's been I feel like he's been quick, almost too quick for his own good. But to see him win a race, I think is good for him.
yeah, it's always good for the morale to end up swinging a win, especially when you've been struggling for performance lately. Um, and not by a small margin either. It's 5 seconds. That's comfortable enough that you're not sweating on the last few laps.
Yeah,
And I don't know. It'll be one to go back and watch as with most of these because I got a good look at Division 1 and a decent look at Division 2 from like how the front of the packs were behaving. And for
hmm
the most part, the lap times were all very close to each other. Like people's fastest were varying, but the overall like steady pace of the field, um, it was kind of a lot of groups. Like there'd be like 5, 10 cars, and they'd all be going within a couple tenths of each other. Then there'd be another 5, 10 cars, and they'd all be going within another couple tenths of each other. So who knows? Maybe Curtis, Sturban, and John all fought for the whole race and then split up in the last few, or they fought early and split up. But yeah, I,
could
w-
be.
I wonder who went for the undercut.
Um,
I'm gonna hope it's Curtis,
if there
because then
was
it
one,
worked.
yeah. I hope for his. I yeah. It would have made me kind of upset if it does, because then would have made me feel a whole lot better about our race too. So not that
Yeah.
not that you had a great ending either. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
No, we got a little foreshadowing
We'll get
going
to
on in
that.
the main
Yeah.
stage here, but that's okay. Moving on up to
Oh,
Bailey.
oh, 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 oh. I
Okay.
just saw something. I
What
just saw something.
what did you see?
Curtis Lee is a 5 second penalty.
Oh no. He still
Yeah.
wins by 4 hundredths of a second.
Oh my god.
He is plus 0.436 to Durban if you add 5 seconds to his time. 31.057, 31.493.
Wow.
That's close, man. He cut it
Oh
close.
my god. I was gonna say, I thought I heard something about somebody getting a penalty at the top, and I went and looked, and it sure as heck was Curtis Lee for pit auto. So
Wow. Did we
yeah,
miss any in Division 7?
I don't see anybody. No,
To-
not that was in the top five.
okay. Well, damn, Curtis. Easy, buddy.
Making that one close.
Yeah, closer than it needs to be. Artificial fights, I guess. But moving to Division 5, Bailey's playground this season in the commentator's
Yes.
booth with Mike Gino. Rodney Felker takes pole position with a 51.617. William Brown takes second with a 51.670. And Nick Cameron third place with a 51.812. So much closer here than we saw in the other divisions. That looks like 43 hundredths splitting first and second place. So
Yes.
how was qualifying for D5?
Qualifying was how it was for most of the divisions. Silvers had a very wet track, and then gold went out there, and I think 70% of the gold drivers beat all the silvers on their first lap. So that kind of just goes to show that the track did significantly dry up for the golds. Rodney and William probably traded fastest lap 4 times.
Oh wow,
Yeah, it was kind of wild.
just back and
Uh,
forth.
Nick Cameron actually almost had it, but his exit on the last corner pushed him out of it. So um, it was actually a really intense qualifying session to be a part of. Um, the race was a whole different story.
Yeah, and in the race we see that William did end up coming home to take the win. Martin Riggs comes home in second place. Pat Cockcroft comes home in third. Lane Yates, aka Doug, comes home in fourth. And Nick Cameron comes home in fifth place. Quite a gap from first to second. That's Oh man, my math is horrible tonight. 14 seconds?
Yes.
So why don't you tell us what happened there?
So Rodney was actually leading the race for a good chunk of it. I think at least it was probably like half. But all of a sudden we were looking at a battle for I think it was like P11 or something like that. It was a 5 car battle, and we went back to the top and saw that Rodney was nowhere to be seen. No yellow flag, no nothing. Got disconnected from the race
Oh no.
at P1. Was I think 4 seconds clear of William, and
Damn.
William just kind of ran away with it, and Martin Riggs was actually had an incredible race. Started P6, I think it was, and just kind of ran his own race. Was in a bunch of space by himself. So he's just able to hot lap, no traffic, no nothing, and stayed out. And everybody who was in front of him uh, ended up either crashing or spinning, or I don't think there was anything major, but he ended up just pulling out ahead of Pat as well, Pat Cockcroft. Heck of a race from those two. I know I pulled in Martin for an interview because of what happened last week at Spa. He got taken out by his not his own doing. So Martin's actually had a very unfortunate racing couple of seasons here. Just struggling with either the car, tracks, or something like that. So to see him get on the podium was really nice. I pulled him up immediately, and he was ecstatic. He was super happy, and said that was his first podium at SRA. So I felt really happy for Martin. I've actually done a lot of coaching with him, a lot of um, improvements on his driving, and to see it actually pay off puts a smile on my face as well. So um, shout out Martin Riggs, William Brown also just a dominant performance. Um, so feel bad for Rodney though because he had a great chance of winning the race.
Yeah, it's always a shame when technology's got to step in the way and say, nah, you don't even get a chance to compete. Never
Hmm.
mind, lose it for yourself.
Yeah,
But,
for sure. But we actually had a it was me, Mike, and we actually had Cody Platt step in with us this week, who I think will be with us the rest of the season, if not
awesome.
take over as the host, so we can actually live stream it instead of record it. So
Awesome. Yeah, I hear we're working on some interesting new tactics with dual streams and whatnot. So,
hmm
could be some live streams of D5 coming to a YouTube near you, if I'm not mistaken. So,
probably check it out here. I think it'll be up for Imola
yeah, keep your
if
eyes and ears open, and information will get blasted on the Discord definitely when that happens, because
for
that'll
sure.
be info for everybody to know.
For
But,
sure. I think they ran it for D6 and I think it went pretty well.
I did not know that, so
Yes.
interesting. But like you said with Martin, it's nice to see him actually get up there on the podium. He's a driver I've always known as somebody who's got the skill. He's usually always fighting near the front, but something's always got to step in the way of him having a good finish to a race. So
Yes.
it's nice to see him get one.
Absolutely. And he actually just messaged me because he wanted to try the Merc, and I gave him a setup and stuff, and told him like the best way of driving it and stuff, and he just beat his PB at Imola, so
Uh oh,
he's improving.
might see
uh,
him might see him jump ship on the McLaren next season. Who knows?
we'll see.
We'll
We'll
probably get
see.
56 BOP changes by then, considering we've already had another update
At
with
this
more
rate,
BOP fixes and another new car, which we'll go over as we get
yeah,
towards Imola, but it's always changing.
for sure.
Division number 4. Riley Barker takes pole position with a 51.547. Max Diggs takes second with a 51.587. And Rogerio Santos takes third with a 51.642. Rogerio actually managed to come home and take the win by 9 seconds from Steven Smalley. KB Smith comes home to take third place. Jobbery GTG takes fourth, and Max Diggs comes home in fifth place. So, another situation of one of our top 3 qualifiers not ending up in the top 5.
Yeah.
And
Um, I
I'm
don't.
not too sure what happened there. I haven't heard
I
much
don't
about it.
either. I don't think Riley really ever said what happened to him because he is a part of Ghost Rider. But let me look. I don't remember if he said anything, but I know that he had some incredible pace. I don't know if it was a pit issue or if it was a game issue. Um, but let me see if I can figure out what happened with him real quick.
While you look at that, I'm just looking over this top five, and even though Smalley wasn't in the top three in quali, his race pace 51.267, two almost 3 tenths faster than the cars around him on the leaderboard. So definitely had the chance to charge towards the front if he had a little bit more time. He was 3 seconds clear of KB. KB and Jobbery actually were only 3 tenths apart as they came across the line, and another 10 seconds back to Max in fifth place.
I'm not seeing anything from Riley, so I'll have to ask him about that. What happened? But kind of unfortunate. So yeah, dude, D4 Stephen Smalley still blows my mind.
Yeah, it's like what? I mean, there's so many fast people here, and fast people you've always known as fast just get pushed down. But he's
Yeah,
showing, I'm not in. I don't want to be in D4. I want to be in D3, if not higher.
and the funny part about it is that in season 5, Stephen Smalley would always qualify the position ahead of me and would just like park the bus, and it just was so irritating. And it, it was I had a lot of probably potential podium finishes, but Stephen Smalley was just too quick.
Is that why you got
But
so much aggression when you're around me now? You're like, this guy's always
don't even
qualifying in front
don't
of
even
me.
blame it on
I'm
me.
gonna push the bus.
Don't even blame it on me.
Oh, I'm just poking the bear. I still think we had a really solid idea for what was it? It was Imola, where we put ourselves in the same car. That way we can't crash into each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We've got a few
Maybe
more events coming down the pipeline.
we
Maybe
do, we do. We'll
maybe
talk
we'll
about
see
that.
some more.
We'll talk about that. Let me put that here.
Division number 3, the retired admin division, sees Daehyun take pole position. Hey man, I gotta give it the nickname that it's been donned.
Yeah, we gotta talk about these videos as well. I don't know if you've watched any, but when we get through this, we'll talk about it.
Videos. Okay. But yeah, Daehy takes pole position with a 51.620. Doug Mitchell comes home in second place, 2 thousandths of a second behind, with a 51.622. And Jared Seckham comes home in third with a 51.757. But in the race, Mr. Mitchell, good job, buddy. You won a race.
Hold on, let me check the penalties.
Yeah, go check the penalties.
Let me check the penalties.
And check
Division
D4 as
3.
well.
Division 3. I didn't see anybody for Division 4 that got affected. Division 3.
I think I saw Doug's name on there.
Doug's name is not on here.
Oh, I lied.
Doug Mitchell actually wins a race in SRA. First time. Only took him 7 seasons.
Yeah,
Uh,
and who knows? Maybe it'll actually come with a championship this time.
maybe. But nobody in the top 5 got affected by penalties this week.
Good to hear. Good to hear. But yeah, Doug comes home to take the win. 4 seconds clear of Brian Ryder in second place for Madhouse. Daehy in third. Jacob Zitko in fourth, and Matt Anastasi in fifth. Lot of not a lot of Ferraris, all Ferraris on the D3 podium, D3 race top five, but pretty close racing. I mean, Daehy was a second back from Brian, and then 12 seconds to Jacob, 4 seconds back to Matt. So another seemingly situation of these little groups finding each other and just pacing out through the race.
Yeah.
But I don't know, especially when everybody's in the same car. It's tough.
Well, if you look up a bit, just kind of scroll through the cars, I'd say about 90% of the podiums, I mean, if you exclude D5, 90% of the podium is Ferrari.
Yeah. Actually, shout out to Lane Yates. I didn't realize he was driving the Bentley.
Yeah, dude. Lane Yates was my pick to win the race this week, but I mean, P4 is still an absolute stonking position.
Oh yeah,
Stonks.
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 But yeah, that's true. There are quite a lot of Ferraris. Still a fair amount of Aston Martins popping up in the top five as well. Good to see.
Yeah. It's not dead yet.
Nope.
Well, to us, it's
It's to
no.
me it's dead for now. I might try
Yeah.
it again in some events, but I think I'm gonna try the 992 before I do that again.
I'm never touching a Porsche again, but I wish you the best of luck, my friend.
The 992 kind of feels fun. We'll see what it's like when I actually try to drive it at a competitive pace, not to just go
Hmm.
out, drive it, see how it feels, because that's always the tipping point.
Yeah, we'll see. I know I ain't touching it.
Moving forwards to Division 2, I took pole position.
Hold
With
on.
what?
We're just gonna let that sit for a while.
Yeah, we're
I,
just
l- let me say this for you.
yeah.
All right. Josh Damiani takes pole
Okay.
with a 151.5.
All right.
Well done, Josh. I'm so proud of you. You've overcome anything. They tried to demote you down to silver, but you said, nah, why'd you put me in silver? And you went and took pole. We won't say that Division Two had a wetter quality for the golds, but you know what? I'm proud of you still. The 777 card takes pole. Herman Valencia, 51.6, right behind you by a tenth. Exactly a tenth, shall I say that. And Jeremy Story, our new Division One attendee, 51.7. So I'll I'll uh I'll give it back to you because I wanted to make sure your name got announced and not I. I got your back.
I appreciate it. I
I got your
appreciate it.
back. But we'll let you take over.
Yeah, it was interesting, man. I never had the pace, and I
Hmm.
wasn't that was actually faster than I've gone in quite a bit in the wet here. I
Yeah.
think by like 4/10. So it just kind of came out in the last lap as no, second to last lap, about the 8 minute mark in, and then that's when it started to transition to the medium wet for those gold drivers. And yeah, they pushed as hard as they could, but I think it was like 1.2 seconds off the pole. It's wild how much the little bit of extra water, even with the bona fide dry line, does to the pace.
Yeah. Yeah, I was I guess like a little over a second and a half off you. It was brutal.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It sounded very frustrating in the Champion Motorsports voice channel as we have all of the Division 2 drivers together, all like 8 of us.
Yeah.
But
Well, and it was everybody in the back, so it was like the last like 8 positions was either Champion Motorsport or Ghost Rider Racing. So it's like there was only two liveries at the back end of the grid.
it's kind of
Oh,
funny.
it was so funny because I had it was like John Crown, then I had Colin Shea, I had Paul A, I had Ian Wheeler, uh, somebody
Ian,
else.
actually, a funny story. So Ian qualified in 23rd,
Hmm.
and instead of hitting return to garage at the end of qualifying, hit quit.
Oh,
And it was right when it transitioned to the grid. So he got sent to the back of the grid. And I'm like, oh no, man, that's horrible.
oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah, because then Ian Wheeler actually plowed into me. I don't know if you ever overheard that on the comms at all.
I don't recall it. I was too
No.
busy being concerned as Jeremy Story went up the inside at turn one on lap one and held it for the entirety of the race.
Yeah. Ian, it was just like lap 11 or something like that.
Oh,
I was in an intense battle with Michael Louis, and Ian just sent it up the inside of Michael at uh the one of the corners of the boot. I can't remember which one it was, but got past him, and then the next corner or the next lap sent it on me at the downhill left after the bus stop, and just drifted up into me. So I couldn't do much about it. So I didn't. I felt kind of bad that he definitely came off way worse than I did, but um, yeah, it's all good. We talked it out. It's okay.
yeah. It's wet racing too. It's
But
it's a lot harder. Your
yeah,
brain tells you go for the move, and then as soon as you move over, it's like, wait, no, I should have broke
yeah,
50 meters ago if I'm in these conditions.
yeah. Especially on those corners, the quick downhill corners. So
Mm-hmm. But like I said, Jeremy did come up the inside of turn one. Very clean move. Held
from
on
P3.
from P3. Yeah, jumped both myself and Herman Valencia in the first turn. Held on to it. Took a pretty solid lead right off the start and didn't turn back. JD Daniel came home in second place. Herman Valencia in third. Guy Manperson in fourth, and Colin Matiak in fifth. Uh, because of some technical difficulties, Jeremy Story did win by 12 seconds. Uh, I was in
What
P
happened?
I was in P2, and last lap started, and I came up the S's. I take the left. I go to take the right, and my screen does what my camera's doing, and goes UE4 fatal error. Game has crashed. And
That's so unfortunate.
if it wasn't for this headset costing as much as it did, I almost threw it across the room.
Oh,
I'm I'm
feel your
that kind of
pain.
kid when shit goes wrong in video games, but
Hmm. I'm
it's
with you.
it's just oh my lord.
I so I had felt so bad because I was talking I was with Landon Dreebs and I was with John Archie as well in voice chat
Mhm.
and John goes, "Oh, there's a car off, yellow flag." And I was like, "Oh shit, who is it?" Because it was obviously in front of us. And he goes, "Oh, it's a Champion Motorsport car." I said, "Oh boy." I was like, "Who is it? Is it John Crown?" He goes, "No," because John Crown had just spun, I think the lap before, something like that, at the fourth corner of the bus stop and
Mhm.
was parked there backwards. That was terrifying to come across. And then he's like 777, like, no, not like this. And there you were, parked on the left side of the straight.
It was weird because like my screen froze and it gave me the pop-up, but I still had force feedback in my wheel. Like my car was still
Hmm.
driving. So
Yeah.
I just kind of like turned over, felt for the wall, and then hit the brakes.
Yeah. It was tough to drive by you like that.
It was depressing. A lot.
Yeah.
I got that comment a lot. They're like, I didn't want to beat you like this.
Yeah.
But
You definitely didn't deserve that.
hey, man, nobody deserves that kind of stuff. And it was tough in the moment. But like the way I kind of put it to Ian when we were chit chatting, doing some Imola driving last night was, I kind of equate technical failures to our versions of like random part
Crashes.
failure on cars,
Yeah.
where like
Yeah.
the computer shuts down or you have
Hmm.
an injector fail. It's like you can't really simulate that. You can simulate that, but games don't really do it too well. So like
Yeah.
your computer overheats, well shit, I mean your engine overheated. Your race is over. Ba-boom.
Yeah, but then again, it's like I paid all this money. Why do I want it to crash? I don't want that realistic feel, you know?
Hey, I'd rather spend a couple $1,000s and lose an hour over spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and lose like a full weekend.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
and possibly hurt myself. Like seriously hurt myself.
Self-inflicted
You
wounds,
think about what's going on in this picture behind us.
depression.
This and we're about to get to Division 1, so I guess we can start talking about this. Lap 1, this is turn 2. 20 cars, half the grid got collected and they were all stopped here. That would have been a very like insane situation to be a part of. That
Hmm.
Intel car that we're seeing there actually managed to react to the 59 car and just swerve out of the way at the last second and make it
Yeah.
through. I think one of the last survivors before everything took off. But
I was watching that stream back. You were obviously on it live, but I was watching that stream back, and that car. Who was it that was sideways?
the one that the person avoided,
No, no, no. The car that was like parked sideways as the crowd approached.
oh, that caused it. I'm not sure. I don't
Oh,
remember.
okay.
I
Yeah,
think
it's just I
I
saw that car on the screen and I'm like, oh gosh, and then it kicked off.
yeah, it was it was a shame. I mean, one car just got loose on the curb
Yeah.
and bumped into another, and all chaos took off as the walls kind of narrow towards the track as you come up the
Hmm.
hill. I mean,
Yeah.
bad place, bad time. It's similar to if you're familiar to SRA, you may have remembered the big crash at Zolder. Was it Zolder? No, Misano. Misano after the double right, the left onto the straight. Remember the
What
Ave Maria
division?
video?
What division? No,
That was a
I don't think
practice
so.
race.
I don't
It was
remember
one of the
this.
it was one of our practice races, and there was a massive like 15, 17 car pileup coming out
The
of
only
turn
one,
5.
the only massive accident I could think off the top of my head was the Division 6 race last season at Barcelona.
That one was big too.
Didn't even make it to turn one.
That's not the first time that's happened either.
Yeah,
Very
I
first
know.
SRA race, Barcelona, we fucking crashed before we got to the first corner. I don't even think we got to the end of the pit exit line.
Yeah, I don't. They didn't either. So, um,
Oh well.
just quickly before we go over this Division One, actually two things. No penalties in Division Two affected the. Oh, maybe actually, Colin Madiak had a 5 second penalty, but I don't know what the gap was to P6.
We had a checking. We had a checking.
We're checking, but otherwise, I don't see anybody on the top five except him that got. Oh wait, nope, just kidding, just Colin Madiak.
Colin Madiak. No, Colin maintains fifth place. He was 10 seconds clear of my teammate Austin Gardner, who came home in sixth place.
Dang,
Well done for the teammate. He
you
had a
guys
pretty
would have
solid
popped off.
race. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
have been really nice for the team.
yeah,
But living it is what it is. Move on to Imola.
yeah. Just win them out.
Cry about it in the bathroom. I've had 2 days to recover. Notice how my eyes
Only
are
two.
still red.
Yeah, Puffy,
Yeah,
Puff the Magic Dragon.
exactly. Lives
But
by the
the
sea.
last thing about D2, JD Daniel. Remember how we talked about P12, P12 to P2.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Well done.
heck of a drive.
Yeah, and him and Colin, I think, are the only gold drivers in the top five.
Yes, that is correct.
So, well done. I mean, a lot of the silvers held on to those top positions.
Yeah, a lot.
It's kind of interesting.
Most.
I thought it was gonna really flip flop as the pit strategy folded out,
Yeah.
just due to pace, but
I think
not
the
really.
goals just shot ourselves in the foot, just battling each other at the back.
Possibly.
Didn't help. So
It was interesting to see. There was a lot of people before the race talking about how hard it was to overtake, and I'd say before the races and how before our race
hmm
after Tuesday night's events, um, saying that it was very difficult to overtake here, and I didn't realize that until I came up to Al Latufo, and he had a very strong defensive strategy of I'm just gonna hold my line,
yeah.
and I was plus 1.35 on my delta for 4 laps. I could not find a way past this guy,
Jeez.
and it was just solid driving, no like egregious defensive moves. There was no clear opportunity to go for it, and
Yeah,
plus he would also keep pulling on me in the last corner.
yeah. And Ian Wheeler, we had talked about him earlier, but he had really kind of shown how to overtake here. It was to just absolutely send it and hope it sticks. Was what saw to be the strategy. But myself, talking about defending, I was able to defend. I was defending almost the entire race. Um, but I found it extremely easy to defend here, whether it was due to the conditions or it's just a track. But if you just kind of hold the inside line and then just kind of break a little longer and to get back on the line, there's nowhere for them to go, especially like in the bus stop. You can't really go around the outside at bus stop. You
No.
can't really go around the outside of that corner after. I don't remember the corner number, but like all the around the outside of these corners, it's kind of hard to overtake, especially because how much drier the racing line was compared to the outside of the racing line. The control the traction was a lot less out there. It was a longer line, and your throttle output was probably delayed or it was slower. So if you were able to stick the apex for all the corners or at least hold midline, I think you were good to defend for a while, which I found to be the case. So I think those people that said that overtaking was difficult, I agree. Defending was a lot easier than it was overtaking.
Yeah. And last note before we move on from my side, shout out to your new commentating associate Cody Platt, who I came up to at one point in the race when JD Daniel was starting to catch up to me as I got backed up in the field. Um, I caught up to him coming into turn one. He says, "Give me 1 lap." I go, "Okay." We get around. I get close to him at the last corner. He goes, "Take me into turn one." Purposely backed off to let me take the move
Yeah,
and played defense for the rest of the lap on JD.
yeah.
And that's a
Cody
king move.
Cody's a great guy. I
Yeah.
was got to talking to him, just kind of meeting each other, get to know each other there before we started broadcasting on Tuesday, and uh, me, Mike, and Cody were just kind of shooting the shit, talking about basketball because he's a Celtics fan, and Mike's a Sixers and I'm a Bulls, so we're all East Coast guys or Eastern Conference guys, and just kind of shooting the shit and stuff. So got to really know Cody. So yeah, Cody's a great guy, and it definitely translates to on track as well.
Agreed. Agreed. So Last but not least, let's go back to where this whole conversation started, Division 1. Qualifying saw Jeremy Mercer take pole position with a 49.907. Michael Griffith came home in second place with a 150.010, and Javier Marquez in third with a 150.027. Surprisingly, through all of the events, those events pictured were only the back half of the field. It was the back 20. So the starting half were seemingly unaffected by the events of the Division 1 crash, but still did have an eventful race throughout. Jeremy Mercer held on to take the win. Michael Griffith came home in second, Javier Marquez in third, Michael Menning in fourth, and Carlos Plaza in fifth place. And Michael not satisfied with the fourth place, and I don't think satisfied with the pace he was able to put up in qualifying. I feel like he felt he had more in him, as he's already taking a big knife and stabbing it and twisting it with the Imola lap times right now, as he's
Yep.
4/10ths clear of anybody.
Yeah. And surprisingly, for how well Michael Menning's been doing this season, he's only P3 in the standings.
Exactly. So I think he's got a little bit of a fire lit under him right now.
Hmm.
And Imola was not a bad result, or not Imola, sorry, Watkins, not a bad result, but I feel like yeah, he definitely wanted more there. And
For
only
sure.
only 2 seconds back from Javier, he could have had more. But looking at the fastest laps, the Lambo didn't seem to be that advantageous in the wet.
No, this Ferrari definitely I felt was far superior in this wet in the Watkins.
It felt beautiful.
I mean, it probably felt, and I mean, just being in the market, it looked beautiful.
Yeah.
Just so much stability and,
What was the
um,
Merc like to drive in the wet?
you know, in the wet, it really wasn't. I'll tell you what, it was way more comfortable in the wet than it was in the dry.
Seriously.
Yeah, just because the Merc loves, for what we found, us Merc drivers, I've been, me and John Archie, been working with Runny Over and Zach Dupuis, who just got or promoted to Division One, getting some setups in till Jaime comes out with some, Ghost comes out with them. So we've kind of just been messing around with stuff. Zach actually came up with this insane setup um, that was super stable. Like John and I were talking about it mid race, where like we both feel way more stable than we did at either Paul Ricard or uh, um, crap Spa. Sorry. So in the wet, it's actually really tame. I actually struggled for the second half of the race because I had damage, but John said he felt really good all the way through the race. So the Merc is, I think it's coming out to be a great car until we get some setups that are on the same page. So
Yeah, the setups definitely do help you get those last few tenths and on some of these tracks seconds.
yeah, for sure.
But good to see that you guys are able to make it work. And yeah, caps off to Division 1, the top 20 for having a stellar race. And the back 20, I'm sorry you got caught up in a completely blind situation. Like, the common response I got from any of the people involved with this was just, I couldn't see anything.
Well,
And
yeah,
there's
there's a lot of cars in front of you and spray and everything, and it's yeah.
exactly, it's white, 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 white door. So, and that's not a play at the fact that the car that spun was a white Ferrari.
Yeah,
So,
and that's gonna be blinded, camouflaged in the spray.
mm-hmm.
So
A mix of a lot of unfortunate events. So, since we've got through those standings, let's take a bit of a look ahead to the track I keep misnaming but also speaking about in terms of lap times. Imola.
Imola,
This time, no rain, so a little bit nicer. But like we were saying, it's gonna be at night, so all all 19 of these corners, even though some of them are not corners, they're just kinks in a straightaway, are gonna
especially
be
turn one.
are gonna be pretty tough, and 19 are gonna be pretty tough to spot as we find ourselves racing around this track. But yeah, like we said, sunset qualifying, nighttime race. It feels wildly different to what we've been practicing with Watkins The
Yeah,
Ferrari immediately it went from wishy-washy and room to play to everything's on the nose.
yep.
How do you
And
feel in the Merc?
the Merc actually, I haven't done much race setup yet. But quality setup this car and track combination actually feels really good. This is probably the most comfortable I've been so far, and I've only practiced maybe the last 2 days. It's the most comfortable I've been all season so far. Not looking forward to the tire fall off on the front tires and having no turn in by the 20-minute mark. Um, but Imola, I was talking to Martin Riggs earlier. I feel like Imola got quicker in 1.9.
I mean, possibly. Like, they did change the way that the cars are able to take curbs and the way suspension handles and and everything like that.
Hmm.
So, I mean, all in all, it's going to change the way this track feels, considering
Yeah.
90% of the track is spent on a sausage curb.
Well, let me throw this out there. We have all of our Imola endurance stuff saved. Our qualifying bests that we put in our spreadsheet. You had a 42.3. I had a 42.3. We were both split by I think it was 8 thousandths of a second in qualifying. If I jump over to the hot lap leaderboard for this season's Imola, um, my my hot lap is a second quicker than that. I'm sitting at a 41.365.
Yeah, and can you check where I'm at on there?
You're at a 42.1. So even you're 2 tenths quicker with
Minimal
minimal
practice.
practice. Yeah, not minimum, minimal. Sorry,
Yeah. Well,
minimal
I
practice.
think that is pretty minimum. I did like 25 minutes.
Yeah, I did 2.5 hours yesterday.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, the track is definitely faster. And looking all the way up to the top times, Menning is almost breaking into the 39s with a 40.432.
Oh
I
gosh.
think we said
Yeah.
3/10 clear of second place,
He is on some smoke this season.
honestly. And I'm here to take it all in, man. It's
Yeah.
a great show. I look forward to seeing what else this man can do.
Ryan Yee steps out for a season and D1 loses their mind.
Literally, literally, I'm sure Yee's just sitting there like, all right, this
Yeah.
better be there when I get back.
Yeah. Menning is if he walks I think he's gonna be my pick for the rest of the season to walk away with Division 1 title this season.
It's gonna be tough to compete with somebody who's got that kind of on-command pace.
Yeah.
But some people may have a bit of an advantage coming forwards with their pace, and that's through this newest hotfix. We've finally been introduced to the new McLaren Evo, and all of the drivers who are currently registered in the McLaren GT3 are given the option to switch to the Evo if they want to. So
Yeah.
I know you were saying some early testing is already making it sound spicy.
Yeah, I was actually I've been talking about a lot about Martin, but I've just been kind of helping him lately, so I felt like his personal coach. But uh, about an hour before, maybe half an hour before we started recording this, we were doing some Barcelona testing because they Go Setups actually came out with some early releases for this car, and Barcelona was one of them. I was also trying to figure out what car we're using for the Barcelona Endurance. Not sure if we've talked about that, but we can here in a second. But was just testing it around Barcelona, and I haven't really used the old McLaren very much. I did it a long time ago when we did 6 hours of Watkins Glen. Not sure if you remember that race.
I vaguely remember that
It
race.
was like around season 3 or something like that, maybe season 4.
Okay.
But it was
Right
about
when
the
it
only
dropped,
time,
right?
probably, yeah. But was just trying to figure it out. I told Martin, I was like, this car just doesn't feel good under braking. I don't know how you are with brakes, but I like to rack the gears in the braking.
What do you mean by
Quickly.
that?
So like I downshift quickly instead of
Mm.
like using the engine braking. This McLaren is super dependent on the engine braking, so you can't rack them. You have to let the car just naturally slow down through the engine braking. Um, and it's kind of got. Martin says he feels like it's more comfortable over curbs. I mean, Barcelona curbs are not nice, so it's kind of hard to say there. Um, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've always sworn off the McLaren just morally. Thank you, Team McLaren. But yeah, I think the McLaren, this new one's kind of spicy. So just awesome early testing.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that it might actually be worth switching to. I mean, it doesn't look watching like GT World Challenge and stuff. It doesn't look like it's an insanely quick car, so I don't think
Mm-mm.
it's gonna get introduced and then nerfed immediately.
I hope
Whereas
not.
whereas the Ferrari is out here ending the German dominance at the ring and shit. So
Yeah,
like that's awesome to see. A little tidbit in the background caps off to Furcadelli Racing taking the win at the Nürburgring 24 hour. Not even a works team, a customer team.
yeah, I didn't watch any of that.
I watched the start when I was at work. I was able to watch all of the classes green flag, but didn't watch much else. A lot of big crashes. But that's the ring, man.
It is. It's a lot of concentration
Yeah.
for
There
that track.
there's a full Pastebin article that breaks down how all the cars have been changed in the BOP. I'm going to link that in the description with all the other stuff, as well as
Hmm.
the podcast forum as usual for everybody. But yeah, Bailey, why don't you tell us about the upcoming events that we hinted at earlier?
Absolutely. So, as I just mentioned, the most well, let's restart that. Let's restart that. Coming up in 2 weeks. Well, hold on. I might be restarting this. June 3rd. 3 hours of Barcelona. Right. We've got a multi-class endurance race, a one-off here. We are going to have GT3s, GT4s, and any cup car um, participating in this race. We've got teams of 1 to 3 drivers, no max stint, no tire limitations, so you can have as many tires as you want. If you want to change on every pit stop, you can. Um, so not a whole lot of strategy going on there. It's going to be kind of hectic with the GT4s as it usually is, but throwing cup cars, Lord have mercy,
Yeah,
is it going to be wild?
that's an interesting mix. I think I'm gonna take a
Yeah,
cup car for that.
you going to solo this one?
Probably. It's only 3 hours.
Yeah. Let's
That's
see if
not
I
too
can find
bad.
more info. Um, oh, it's up here in announcements. But yeah, so that will be happening on June 3rd. That is next Saturday. Um, as tomorrow's the 27th. So next Saturday,
What time?
uh, race will probably start closer to 8 p.m. Eastern time. Quali will start at 7:30. 10-minute qualifying for each class. They are doing 3 classes, but it's not the typical silver, gold, and open. It will be the open, which is all GT3 cars, or any cup car you would like to challenge GT3 cars in. Then you will have the cup class, which is all the available cup cars. And then you will have the GT4 class, which is GT4 cars, obviously. So I haven't looked at the sign up sheet to see how many people we've got, but I have. Last time I saw there was about 20 some on teams. There was a mix of some cup cars. I don't know about how many GT4s, but then we had the larger amount of GT3s. Myself, I'm running with the Mike Gino and Chris Whitting Jr. This race. Um, so I think we're going to be doing the new Merc that we just talked about, or not Merc, wow, McLaren that we just talked about. So yeah, going to be exciting. Then coming up on the June 9th, nope, that's false. July 8th, sorry. Signups open June 19th. I can't read, dude. I can't be doing this. I
you
can't
got
be doing
you
this.
got this, Bailey. I
Oh
believe in
god, dude.
you. I believe in you.
It's in front of my face, dude. I can't even read it. July 8th, we have got official the next big SRA endurance race. We've got, let's hopefully I don't butcher this, the 9 hours of Valencia. They're calling it as titled, SRA presents the New Jures d'Estui de Valencia, 9 hours of Valencia summer. This race, like I said, July 8th. Signups open June 19th. Teams of 1 to 3 drivers again. Um, let me pull up the information for this one. No max or yeah, no max driver stints, I believe. Where's this announcement right here? Let's see. Yep, teams of 1 to 3 drivers. Event will have 3 divisions. We're going back to the old open, gold, and silver. Um, I think yes, we're doing a qualification server again for this one. That will open on the 19th of June as well. So everybody who is participating has to do a qualifying time, and then they take your 3 best times and average them with your teammates, and that will just kind of decide where you'll be qualified. Instead of doing the whole point system of the Division One, you have 10 points. Division Two, you have 8 points, and then that you get a total. So they're gonna purely base it on speed and your team speed. So they did that for I believe it was Nurburgring. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, kind of formatting it different. They kind of just took the best time, I believe, of each person and then averaged that. So this time, um, just due to the fact that it's a 9-hour race and there's probably going to be more people per team instead of solo. 9 hour solo is going to be tough. You did the 9 hours of in or 8 hours of indie, and that was pretty pretty brutal on yourself, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was quite the workout.
Yeah. And Valencia is a whole different beast, dude. It's a lot of loaded corners, a lot of high speed corners, a lot of heavy braking. So it would be a lot of pain on your body. So if you solo this, you have my full respect.
We'll see.
But yeah, I don't advise it from a health standpoint. If I was a doctor, I would say I don't advise it. But I'm not a doctor, so don't listen to me. So that one I'm extremely excited for. I love Valencia. I've done a lot of laps at it already just to learn it. So super excited with that. I do plan on participating. Not sure with who, if it's going to be the same group that I'm doing Barcelona with, but we'll see. But yep, July 8th. Check that out. Make sure you get signed up. Make sure you do some qualifying, and hope to see everybody out there. Now, our last major endurance announcement: ONID and SRA are teaming up once again to uh, what am I going to say here? I don't know what I was going to say. They're putting on another Transatlantic Cup. 2 races, hosted by each server, one by ONID, one by SRA. But instead of this time doing the 1 hour race, we're doing 2 endurance races. One 6 hour race at Donington Park, hosted by, I believe that one will be hosted by ONID
Ew.
on, on August 12th.
6 hours at Donington.
Love it. I love Donington. The SRA race that will be hosted be 6 hours of Watkins Glen on September 23rd. Not much has been um, mentioned about this. Not a lot of information so far, um, but the only information I have so far is that there will be another qualification server for this. Only the top 50 teams from ONID and SRA combined will be able to be on the grid. So that's not 50 drivers, that'll be 50 teams. I'm assuming they're doing drivers of one or teams of 1 to 2, I would assume. Maybe 1 to 3. Um,
I would assume
so
three just because of it being 6 hours. two
could be,
hours a driver.
could be, yeah. So we'll say 1 to 3 just to be safe. Not official, but um, yeah, more details will come July 10th. So I will try to keep you guys updated when that information gets released, or if any other information gets released about it. So I know the Onid SRA Transatlantic Cup event last year. What When was that? When did we do that one?
A couple
Do you
seasons
remember?
ago. 2 seasons ago, I believe.
Season 5, maybe?
2022.
Yeah, it was definitely last year sometime. I can't remember, but it was a great spectacle. We had a lot of people come out for it. It was intense racing, getting to race people we don't normally race. So hopefully, I can make the qualification for this one. Maybe SRA Grid Report team might make a comeback. Wink,
Woot woot.
wink.
That'd be
Haven't
nice.
talked haven't talked about it, but maybe we'll see.
We'll
We'll
see. We'll
see.
see.
Would be fun. But yep, like I said, we'll keep you updated on that one. That one's gonna be a whole lot of fun, as I hope it was as the last time. the two groups got together. So yeah, that's a lot of endurance announcements getting announced recently. So super excited. A lot of people have been craving some endurance racing, and admins have listened and admins have answered.
I was gonna say, ask and you shall receive. The people have begged
Exactly.
for more endurance, and here we got it. We may not
Yes.
have an actual endurance series like I know some people have been looking for, but I mean, consistent rollout of events. I don't see a difference beside a leaderboard.
Nope.
So,
I agree.
hell yeah. You get a variety, you get to change cars if you want, change teammates, challenge different events in a different way. Send it.
Absolutely.
But these all
Bring it.
these all look like they're gonna be fun.
I agree. I'm hoping to make all of them.
Same here. Same here.
So.
I think before we go, Bailey, you said you had some news
Oh yes,
that you wanted to
I
share.
do. I do have some news. I have been a busy man lately
You
in
have.
in my life. I got the whole Benny Brew situation going on. It's been steady. It's been fun. Not a super intense business, but I am officially announcing my departing of the Team Series Racing at the end of season 7. I have come across another business opportunity that I've got my hands on, and I just can't put in the time to keep up with these D2 fast boys. My ego's too big to get dropped down to D3. So I've taken the time to think about it. I love sim racing, I really do. I'm more into the Formula One cars, so I'd rather spend my time in Formula One. The F123 game comes out in 3 weeks, so I'd rather put my time there. I do enjoy the team series racing, but um, yeah, this is my official retirement. I mean, I may come back. I might pull my Tom Brady and come out of retirement at some point, but as of right now, season 8, I will not be participating. But I still plan to watch all the races. I still plan to be here for the podcast. This is the podcast what I look forward to every week, and um, seeing everybody, all my friends improve, and getting podiums, getting race wins, and watching the races back and talking to people about the race. So I do plan to be here. I still plan to be around. I still would like to do endurance races, maybe some multi-class races. So I still plan to be around. Just team series is a lot of time and practice, and I just don't have that at the moment in my life. So
It does take a lot of commitment to be able to race every single week on a new track, chase these kinds of times. So,
yeah,
it
it
it's
is. It's tough, but it's a game. But yeah, we're it
bigger
was
and
fun.
better things, right?
Absolutely, I had a great time in my 4 seasons here. I think three, four, three, four, five, six. Hold on, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 seasons apparently. So
There you go.
yeah, yeah, but
Time flies.
time flies, dude. All good things must come to an end.
Unfortunately, they must. Just like
Yes,
this
but
episode.
exactly.
So, I guess to end on a less depressive note, Carlos did it this time. Same spot, same place,
Yes,
same way. Carlos did it this time.
yes.
So, enjoy your weekend. Practice Imola. Watch Monaco if you want to.
Yep. Well, Saturday Monaco. Not sure how exciting Sunday Monaco is going to be.
Safety car fest might be fun.
It could be fun. Also, do you know the weather for this weekend in Monaco, perhaps?
It looks very wet.
Really?
Yeah, the post that I saw a couple days ago from ESPN showed rain forecast on 2 of the 4 days.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I mean, I think it was F2 or F3 had to go out in the wet on Thursday or Friday for their
Wow.
practice, and then
Wow.
qualified today in the dry, and there was a lot of crashes.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch any of free practice today, nor have I really looked at the weather because, Monaco last season was pretty intense. But yeah, we'll see. But one last thing before we go. Fernando Alonso got pooped on by a bird. You know what that means, right? That's good luck. Fernando
That's great
Alonso's going
luck.
to win Monaco.
You heard it here first, folks. So, from myself, from Bailey, from SRA, we'll see you next week.
Love you. Bye.